Hello golfers, Jess Frank coming to you from the Jess Frank Golf Academy here at the beautiful Deer Creek Golf Club. Excited to be back and helping students after an awesome week at the Sack and Tilt Camp. So today, three reasons to have your weight forward. This is crucial to playing great golf. And the first reason, most importantly, the first reason that we have is to hit forward on the ground. Hit the ball, then the turf. That's number one. Of course, we always want that we measure the greatest players. We measure the greatest players by contact, power, and how they control the curve. And of course, the greatest players do this on a consistent basis. So it must be easy. It must be easy to be able to repeat this over and over again. However, if I go down the line and I ask people to hit in the same spot, you usually will get hitting behind the ball, missing the ball, or you're just not hitting the ball solid. So this is really important to hit the ball solid. So weight forward, meaning that your lower center is forward, not backward. So your lower center is forward. This is weight forward. Three reasons to have your weight forward. And number one is moving the low point forward in the golf swing so you can hit the ball first, then the turf. This is crucially important to playing good golf. The best players in the world play great golf this way. That's the only way they can play. That's the only way that they can get past this level, this basic fundamental level of hitting the ball, then the turf. So very important, okay? So that's number one, a reason why to move your weight forward. Number two is that when you move your weight forward, we're talking about the lower center. So you have the upper center and the lower center. So we're moving the lower center forward, which transfers this into our pelvic side tilt. So you can see is when my lower center goes forward, I'm actually transferring. I have a backswing where I tilt my left shoulder and the downswing where I tilt my right shoulder. So my right shoulder goes underneath my chin, okay? And my weight's forward on my left leg, my forward leg. I have very little weight on my back side here, my back leg. Okay, that transfers me into my pelvic side tilt. Okay, that's very important. So this also helps you hit the ground in the same place. It also helps you move the handle forward. When I move the weight forward, move the handle forward, that's super important, which shortens the radius so I don't have a long radius throwaway back here. So if I move forward, you can see how there's no pelvic side tilt here. I'm going into side tilt, and you can see how my left hip goes forward towards the target. Okay, so this is very important. So this would be side tilt. So weight forward, side tilt. I also can shallow the divot that way. So you can see as I'm not just hitting the ground behind the ball. As I go pelvic side tilt, that shallows the ball. And number three, this is the crucial part. This is why you want your weight forward. You can move your trail hip. If you put all the weight, let's say the pivot point is on, this is the left hip right here, my left hand. So this gives you the greatest amount of movement of your right hip around your body. Okay, what that does is that gives you the greatest movement. So I can take my right hip now, put all the weight on my left, and this is going to move all the way around. So it gives me the most amount of turn, the most amount of pivot, the most amount of hip rotation when you have your weight set on the left. So the weight sets on the left, you can move that pivot. That's a long way for your hips to move around the circle. However, if you have your weight back, on your back foot, what happens is that now the pivot's on the back. So now you can see is that there's not a lot of movement for the hips to move. Okay, very little movement. So setting the weight on the left allows for this huge swing of momentum around your body. So you can see how much that club can come around, how much your body can come around. So it actually has, by putting the weight on the front, actually gives you the most amount of pivot. Okay, so these are crucial reasons. This is what the best players in the world do on a daily basis to hit the ball solid, to hit it, super solid contact, to hit it high enough, to hit it far enough, and to control their curvature of their ball. This is how they do it. So the next thing is that what I was talking about before. So that would be the third reason to have the hip move all the way around you. So one of the things I like to do, take a stick, alignment stick. I'm going to go ahead and put it through my belt loops here and show you what happens for most people is that when they're swinging, usually their right hip goes higher than their left. So as they're coming down, their right hip goes higher than the left, their head moves forward, their weight moves back, and they slide across it. So when we talk about this pelvic side tilt, you can see is that as I come back into the ball, or as I take my club back, the left hip's lower than the right hip. Then as I come back down, the right hip is lower than the left hip because of the pelvic side tilt. And now what happens is that this stick can move the farthest around my body and be able to hit the ball solid. So it's going to give you the most amount of power. And if you watch Bryson this week and you see him hit the ball really far and high, and he's driving the ball 370 yards, he's maxing out this motion. The weight's forward, the hip's moving around his whole body. So he's taking the biggest turn he can get, adding the most arcs and circles he can get. He's adding additive arcs. And so what he's able to do now is he's able to transfer into the pelvic side tilt where most people, so you can see this here, the stick is on an angle. So if I show you from down the line as I come through the ball, the stick's on an angle here. It's not over the top, so it's on an angle. So when I hit shots, you can see when I finish, I've got eye tilt, shoulder tilt, pelvic side tilt, and you can see my knees are in line. So that is something, this is probably one of the most crucial aspects of the game. So you can see the stick through my belt as I go through this here, my weight's on my forward foot, and you can see is that there's a tilting motion here. Most people go high with the right, so you can see their head moves forward, their shoulders open, the hips go backwards, and that's where they get into a lot of trouble. And this is what we see on a daily basis with golfers. Golfers who are struggling need to create this weight on the left, pelvic side tilt. If you could do this and just work on that motion, I'm going to do it down the line so you can see it, but if you can work on this motion, and this will help you become really a successful ball striker and get you to hit the ball higher and farther, more solid. So we'll see here, just like this. Okay, so as I come back, you can see is that my left hip is lower than my right. Okay, now as I come down, they start to get, now it's kind of even here, maybe a slight bit higher. And then as I go through the ball, you can see how this stick is starting to point to the ground. Okay, so this is a huge difference for most people. Most people are going over the top, their weight's moving backwards. So now when I hit the shot down, you can see this pelvic side tilt, and when I come into the ball, you can see this is tilted here. So when I hit a shot, you're going to learn how to go from a left pelvic tilt into a right pelvic tilt. Okay, and it's amazing how solid you can hit golf shots this way, and how much you can improve your game, and it can help you immensely. So putting a stick through the belt, again, the three reasons why you want to have your weight forward. Three reasons why you want to have your weight forward. Number one is obviously to hit farther forward, so you can see my handles forward with a shorter arc Not this long arc, but a shorter arc into the ball, handle forward, ahead of the club head, okay? Number 2, pelvic side tilt. Number 3, this with the weight on the front, okay? It's gonna allow you to move your hips around your body the most amount. When your weight's back, it's the least amount. You can't move your weight forward that way with the weight back like this. I mean, you can't hit solid golf shots. You can end up on your front foot, but it's still more of a forward bend. So again, hitting forward on the forward, hitting ball first, low point forward, pelvic side tilt, and then having the hips come around the most. So those are 3 reasons why you should have your weight forward. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully this video really helps you. If it does, please share it out with your friends. I know there's a lot of golfers out there that could use this video for sure. So please subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoyed it, give it a like. Also leave some comments. Let me know how much it can help you. And if you'd like to see anything else. So have a great day. We'll see you soon.